So let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining this webinar hosted by RedFern Digital. And just to double check, if you can hear me, please click the raise your hand option so that we can know that everyone can hear me and everyone can see the screen right now. Great. Just to start off round into RedFern Digital, we are a full-service digital marketing and e-commerce agency headquartered in Shanghai. We mostly work with FMCG brands, helping them into the market, helping them through their media marketing process. We have a research team that conducts market entry research into the category landscape for the brand, as well as being one of the largest data providers of e-commerce and social listening in the China market. We have our own in-house creative and production team to develop localized creative assets for our clients as well. So today we'll be discussing the topic of media marketing in China. I'll be covering the media landscape in China, the different types of marketing, and then I'll be going into a description of some of the most popular platforms used for marketing in the country. Afterwards, we'll talk a little bit about using a multi-channel approach and other forms of media marketing, such as live streaming, key opinion leaders, and key opinion consumers. And then we'll end with a discussion of how to build sales online. So this webinar will be split into a 45-minute presentation portion, after which we'll have a 50-minute Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions throughout, please do send them through to us and we'll answer them at the end. So to start off, China's media marketing landscape. When it comes to China, it's important to understand that the country has a very different set of media platforms compared to overseas. So because platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and Twitter can be accessed from mainland China, China has developed its own unique and very diverse set of social media platforms. And like I mentioned, we'll discuss the major platforms in more detail later. So one of the big differences in China is its integration of social media, entertainment, and e-commerce, with each platform containing its own ecosystem of different services and features that compete to become enclosed ecosystems. So as an example, WeChat is a platform that can be used for communication, networking, news, e-commerce, making payments, playing games, brand research, and it does not allow for direct linkage to other platforms, for example, Tmall. So I'll be discussing media connectivity in more detail later on as well. When it relates to brands and e-commerce, consumers often use media platforms to read reviews, comments, feedback, purchase products directly through social media channels, and also they frequently leave post-purchase reviews, comments, and feedback. So especially for B2C, business to consumer industries, Chinese users will usually go straight through to social media or e-commerce platforms to look up information or to look up brands and products, as opposed to using search engines. So the increased interconnection between e-commerce and social media, also recommendations from friends or influencers in China, known as KOLs, key opinion leaders, have more influence when it comes to converting to sales. So when brands come into China, they should know that the media landscape is fast changing. So several years ago, WeChat and Weibo were essentially the two most important the group, including but not limited to Xiaohu, Douyin, JiHu, BillyBilly, and many of these are seeing massive increases in user base over the past year or two. So brands need to utilize the different media marketing options that are available to build up brand awareness, to build up brand reputation and trust, with the ultimate aim of encouraging purchase and increasing conversion rates. So research before purchase. Chinese consumers often undergo significant amounts of research before they make a single purchase, which makes implementing successful promotional campaigns an ongoing challenge for brands. In China, social media marketing is a quick way to engage with consumers and to direct them to online stores to drive first-time purchases. So initiating that first-time purchase in the Chinese market is crucial, as a large portion of purchasing decisions through word-of-mouth marketing. So brands need to also be aware that the average consumer in China requires about 8 touch points before they are willing to make a purchase. Therefore, having as many platforms as possible is important for increasing conversion rates. Chinese consumers are becoming more and more sophisticated, and they're with higher education and more disposable income. Nowadays, they want to know all about the things that they're buying. They want to know about the quality, the production process, the ingredients, the materials used. So in terms of these, it's very important to provide that information and have it readily available for consumers when they search for it online. So Media marketing in China can generally be split into 3 different types: official account owned media marketing, paid out of app media marketing, and e-commerce in-app media marketing. So the top 2 are the ones that we will be focusing on today. And then e-commerce in-app marketing we'll be discussing in a webinar that we're hosting in February. So the first one, official account owned media marketing. It's a type of content marketing through brand established official accounts, and the accounts should always be verified and they're owned and controlled by the brand itself. So these official or verified accounts can be established on basically all social media platforms. And it's a direct source of information for consumers on the brand information, on product details, product launches, campaigns, promotions, and so on. So one of the first market entry steps that brands often do is to create their own official accounts on the platform. Through these official accounts, brands can gain followers, they can build up a community of loyal followers who enjoy their products, who enjoy their brand, and they can publish engaging content to their followers, they can directly interact with their followers through the chat functions available on these different social media platforms, and they can provide services, or they can direct followers to their e-commerce store or other desired landing page. So brands can also conduct content marketing through these accounts and create different touch points for reaching the consumers. Prior to officially launching the official accounts, brands should always have a plan and strategy in place beforehand. So for example, a content marketing plan, so they know what types of media or content they will be publishing through their accounts. And so some tips for this type of marketing include understanding the different styles and formats for each of the platforms, always staying on top of trends or hot topics, because oftentimes consumers are much more willing to engage with topics that are already popular. So for example, popular TV shows or popular celebrity information or things like that. To always have a call to action in the different content marketing pieces is important, because it'll, once the sales channels are set up, it'll be able to drive consumers to the sales channels. Creating content that invites user participation, such as giveaways, challenges, contests, and polls, will increase consumer engagement and increase the likelihood of followers sharing the post to their friends and family. And then having a consistent brand style, design, image, and identity across all platforms is also important, just to build up that brand image and brand consistency. So the next one is paid out of app media marketing, which refers to paid forms of marketing that are not directly conducted on e-commerce platforms. So the main forms of paid out of media marketing include promotional tools, which is often available on the different media platforms, product seeding, which is the sending of products to users of platforms such as Xiaohu, with the goal of having them discuss the product and increase the brand's digital presence. Key opinion leaders, which is when brands can work with key opinion leaders or influencers who already have a following that they've built up and be able to tap into that already established follower base. The final one is programmatic ads. Advertisements run, so these are advertisements that are run on a number of different platforms using big data to target the relevant users. So brands can conduct digital marketing on media platforms to increase awareness and exposure and to generate external traffic, which is ultimately driven to the brand's sales channels. And these tools can also be used to promote campaigns or sales discounts that are occurring on the e-commerce platforms, so they can work in conjunction with the e-commerce platforms to support any efforts that are on there as well. Unlike owned media marketing, paid media marketing will convert directly to sales. And we'll have a comparison of the different types of marketing later on to make it a little bit more clear. So the final type is e-commerce in-app marketing, which refers to marketing that is conducted on the e-commerce platforms. So these platforms will oftentimes have, they'll usually always have their own promotional tools, campaigns, and methods for marketing that brands can choose to invest in. So one rule of thumb is that brands should always take part in any marketing activities or shopping festivals held by the e-commerce platforms that they're invited to take part in. And that invitation depends on the store sales, on the amount of money that the brand is willing to invest, and just these invitations depend on store sales and the amount of money that brands are willing to invest. And participating in these shopping festivals or campaigns can be vital to boosting the exposure and the overall traffic to the store at a time when it's already at a peak on the e-commerce platforms. And like I mentioned, we'll be covering e-commerce and marketing on e-commerce platforms in more detail during our webinar in February, next February. So do keep an eye on that. And now I'll be comparing out-of-app and in-app marketing, so marketing on e-commerce platforms versus marketing on social media platforms, essentially. So out-of-app marketing has a lower CPM or a lower CPI, so it's better for brand awareness, and it can encourage both online and offline purchases. And one type of this marketing, as I mentioned, is endorsements or recommendations of the brand by influencers, by key opinion leaders, by celebrities, or by brand ambassadors. And discounts may not be needed in this form of marketing in order to convert to sales. On the other hand, in-app marketing will not lead to long-term followers or will not lead to long-term brand equity. So traffic will essentially end as soon as the campaign is over because it's intended more for one-off purchases, and consumers will make the purchase based on price and purpose, not on discounts are required to drive sales for in-app marketing. And then, so out-of-app marketing is more focused on building awareness on long-term brand establishment, while in-app marketing is more about immediate conversion and driving traffic directly to the store through sales promotions and discounts. So now comparing owned media and paid media marketing. So owned media is official brand accounts, while paid media is marketing through any paid channels, such as product seeding, working with KOLs, and using promotional tools. Owned media is required for long-term success in the market. It can take years to build up a community of loyal followers and to build up that brand validation and building up credibility. And it's a primary touch point for potential customers to find information on the brand and product. Initially, it may not lead to sales directly, but it's more about establishing the brand in the market, and it's more about foundational marketing. Whereas paid media is, it can lead to immediate exposure online and it can lead to immediate online sales, but it's not enough for building up the brand reputation in the long term. So it cannot be used for building up brand follower base or a community surrounding the brand, so loyal customers of the brand. Both forms of marketing are necessary, and once e-commerce channels are set up, all media should be linked to drive sales conversions to these e-commerce channels. So now we'll go a little more in depth into some of the most popular platforms in China. Please do note that the platforms we're covering today is by no means exhaustive. There are so many other platforms in China. Some are more category specific than others. For example, there are some platforms that are specific to mother and baby categories, whereas some others are more specific to fitness categories. So the ones I'm discussing today are generally the most popular and the ones that are most likely to apply across the widest range of brand categories, essentially. So we're is the largest social media platform in China with over 1 million monthly active users. Although WeChat began as a messaging platform, it has long since outgrown. It has long since grown into an entire ecosystem of multi-purpose functions that I mentioned some of these before, but they can include content building, advertising, purchasing and payment systems, reading news and articles, e-commerce store integration, customer services, brand inquiries, and just it has become basically a lifestyle tool that is essential to many Chinese consumers' everyday lives. So because of that, WeChat can be considered an all-in-one lifestyle app. And then marketing methods on this platform can include working with KOLs using promotional tools on the platform. So for example, promoting through banner ads and through moments ads, which is the feed on WeChat, and then through content marketing through official accounts as well. So verified accounts are called official accounts on WeChat, and they have been authorized by Tencent as a legitimate organization or business. So several benefits of getting your account verified on WeChat include just the credibility that comes with it, the professionalism, and the additional account features that are only available to you after verification, such as access to promotional tools. The official accounts essentially act as the brand's profile page, and through these accounts, the brand allows customers or users to contact the brand directly, to follow any links that the brand has set up. Either it's to the website or to other pages on the WeChat account, or to mini programs that the brand has set up, which I'll discuss on the next slide. And then through the official accounts, customers can also ask questions directly, and some brands even have auto reply functions set up to answer frequently asked questions. And then customers can also read any content or articles published by the brand. However, with all this being said, there has been a decrease in open rates when it comes to content published by brands, and follower growth has been slowing just because of how saturated the market has become. So with that being said, these official brands accounts are still extremely important in terms of brand validation, in terms of that initial touch point where brands can be sure to find direct information from the brand about their products, about promotions and campaigns that the brand is running. Businesses can implement customer relationship management functionality through their official WeChat accounts, and like I mentioned, do one-on-one personalized interaction between the brand and users, which will increase customer loyalty. And essentially, WeChat is a long-term play for the brands. It creates foundation. It's not about today or tomorrow or next week. It's about setting the foundation for your brand. And you can't open these accounts with the expectation of immediately leading to sales, because that's not going to happen. So I'll be discussing WeChat mini programs a little bit. So these programs are sub-applications that are nestled within the WeChat ecosystem, and they can be opened directly in the app, and they allow for additional interactivity with potential customers. So they're customizable, and they can offer features such as e-commerce, games, task management, information dissemination, membership services, customer services, and brand inquiries as well. So brands that develop their own mini programs will have full control over the experience that users have, and they're great for customer loyalty and, like I mentioned, customer interaction. There are two main options for developing mini programs. The first is to develop the mini program in-house. To do this, a brand will need a development team, and most likely one that speaks in Chinese. Although this option can be very expensive, larger brands may choose to do it as it gives them complete control of the mini program development process. The other option is to use a WeChat store provider. So instead of developing the mini program on their own, brands will work with the store provider, who are able to provide a list of different functions or features that the mini program can have, and then they can develop and launch the mini programs faster and at a lower cost than developing it in-house. Some of the most popular WeChat store providers include Youzan, Weidian, and Weimob, and they all offer different features, different functions for the mini programs that they develop for brands. So Weibo began as a blogging platform, but has since transformed into a comprehensive social media ecosystem, like WeChat as well, similar, and Weibo allows for transparent interactive activities for brands. And unlike WeChat, it is able to link directly to Tmall. Oftentimes users will visit Weibo for news or information on campaigns that brands are running. When it comes to users, 200 million daily active users. The users are mainly aged between 18 to 22 and 33 to 30. And compared to WeChat, Weibo has a stronger focus on lower tier cities and a user base that is more male in proportion. So the products that Weibo offers are cost effective, and they're very good at leading to boosting awareness, but they're not as good at conversion to sales. Because Weibo is primarily a platform for information sharing as opposed to for e-commerce. As the cost per engagement on Weibo is extremely low, it is oftentimes a good place for brands to test the waters, essentially, in the country. So the targeting options for marketing are very specific on Weibo, and when promotional tools are used, users can be targeted according to age, gender, location, device, hobbies, interest, and specific followers and competitors. So it's very specific. And since the feed that users see on Weibo is algorithmic, users will see generally a mix of content from accounts they follow, content engaged with by people they follow, trending posts, which is why it's important for brands to post content related to trending topics because it'll just bring more eyes to the content that is posted. Next is Xiaohu, which is a social media and e-commerce platform where users can share product reviews, they can share outfits of the day, learn fashion tips, post travel vlogs, and essentially share their life, share different snippets of their life stories through short videos and through photos, because Xiaohu is a very visual user base of this platform. Is the majority is female, and most are based in higher tier cities and tend towards a younger-ish demographic. So Xiaohu is the ideal platform for brands to conduct product seeding, where the grassroots users on the platform are sent sample products or are sent the products to provide reviews and discuss their opinion product end of the brand on the platform. This will allow the brand to create brand awareness and increase the digital exposure of the brand through word of mouth marketing. So brands are also able to set up in-platform official accounts, and they can also set up in-platform stores or link to their Tmall flagship stores on Xiaohu. This is an example of social commerce in China. So since Xiaohu reviews can, in the long term, impact sales, it's a very important channel for brand marketing. And the platform's strength lies in its user-generated content. So Xiaohu tends to focus on cross-border e-commerce brands with the main categories including cosmetics and skincare, fashion and apparel, accessories, and other premium products, which reflects its mostly female and living in higher tier cities user base. During the beginning stages, promoting on this platform through product seeding is unlikely to convert directly to sales. It's once again foundational, but if you build up enough noise on the platform, if you build up enough word of mouth marketing, it may cost a lot, but it will eventually tip over into sales. So for example, if you create enough seeds, so 1,000 to 2,000 different seeds or different the platform. So Xiaohu's main advantage, as I mentioned, is that it's a platform designed to allow users to discover, to review, and to purchase products. The platform is community-based, and it's built for word-of-mouth marketing, basically. Even though purchases usually don't happen directly on Little Red Book, it still could have a strong impact on your sales. One thing about Little Red Book is that, or Xiaohu, is that as I mentioned, which has to do with keywords and the post engagement score. Comparatively, WeChat content lifespan is much shorter, and usually views will drop rapidly after about 7 days. Because on WeChat, content is only pushed to WeChat official account followers, so it's harder to gain organic traffic on WeChat. Excuse me. The next platform is Douyin, and it's a short video sharing platform in China and also offers live streaming features. It has over 600 million daily active users, and it's a platform that's growing extremely quickly in terms of user base and in terms of the amount of content that is constantly being published on the platform. And it's particularly popular in tier 2 cities. It has a large female audience base, and the majority of platform users are from Gen Z or they're millennials. And they like to follow the latest trends in fashion, beauty, accessories, and snacks. So it's also quite a lifestyle-oriented platform. Although TikTok is often considered the international version of Douyin, the two platforms actually differ significantly in terms of the services that the services and functions and features that they offer. So, for example, the content on the two platforms are kept completely separate. And Douyin has many features that are not available on TikTok, ranging from better live streaming services, e-commerce, and geotagged services tab. There's also a significantly more professional user-generated content on Douyin when compared, which means that the videos tends to be higher on Douyin. So as of 2018, platform, which just goes to show how live stream has become so essential to everyday life for many Chinese consumers. One example of a successful live stream was on Douyin was one conducted by the Haidilao restaurant for a DIY Douyin recipe. So customers could go to the restaurant and order this recipe, and then staff would let them style their hot pots themselves. And this campaign gained huge awareness, and over 15,000 Douyin users participated, and about 2,000 short videos were posted just about this campaign. So yeah, so one of Douyin's key features is its ability to make to have any video have the potential to go viral due to the algorithm that it employs. However, as this algorithm can also be unpredictable, brands always need to ensure that any videos they release are engaging enough for users to want to share, that they are high quality. Great. So I was on Kaisho. So Kaisho is also a short video platform, and it's actually one of the first platforms in China to integrate live streaming functions, and it has a monthly active user base of over 1 billion users. Although Kaisho has a similar user demographic to Douyin in terms of age groups, it tends to be more focused on lower tier cities. Live streaming is frequently used on the platform for e-commerce purposes, with brands and KOLs holding live streams that feature products, recommendations, unboxings, things like that. In fact, the platform is estimated to hold about 24% in terms of live streaming market share by revenue. So this live streaming feature has made Kaisho a very popular platform for brands looking to drive sales and conversion. But it is important to note that this platform started off known for more mass market and lower price products. In fact, over about 60% of products sold during live streams are less than 50 RMB. Kaisho is known for just being on the more mass market region of the market. But with that being said, the platform has focused on expanding into more premium products as well, and into more higher end products. And they have also been sold on the platform and seen very successful live streaming sessions as well. So currently, most of the stores on Kaisho are domestic brands, and then users can purchase products directly from the platform through the branded stores or through partnerships that link to other e-commerce platforms. So the next slide is comparing Douyin and Kaisho, which are both short video platforms that offer live streaming features. So Douyin has hugely successful KOL live streamers. Their users are generally from higher tier cities. The content displayed is more fashionable and lifestyle focused, and Douyin is more focused on algorithmic recommendations, whereas Kaisho is currently still focused more on mass market and lower priced products. So their users are also generally from lower tier cities. It has a mature live streaming market and has high viewership for the live streams hosted on there and a high conversion rate. And content is driven more through recommendation and word of mouth rather than through algorithms as it's driven on Douyin. So BillyBilly is one of the largest long-form video sharing platforms in China, and it also offers live streaming features. So most of these platforms offer live streaming features just because it's become so popular recently, or in the past couple of years. So BillyBilly started off more focused on anime, comics, and gaming, which has made it massively popular among the younger generation. Since then, the platform has expanded into other categories, and it encourages users to upload and share their own content. So in terms of users, it has over 230 million monthly active users and over 60 million daily active users. And BillyBilly can be effective for marketing, since it allows for that longer form video, and it has a very highly engaged and a very active community of users, especially among Gen Z consumers. And it's also one of the fastest growing platforms in China. So one of its special features is called Danmu, which essentially translates to bullet comments, and it's where time-synced comments are directly overlaid over the video as it plays, which creates a unique and more interactive video viewing experience because you'll see the comments of other people as you watch the video. To reach BillyBilly's Gen Z audience, brands can cooperate with KOLs on the platform in innovative new ways. So an example of this is the partnership between Dior and the KOL Strefe Nova, which involved Nova modeling Dior products while virtually walking through the different brand stores located in Shanghai and Paris. So although BillyBilly is definitely an option for marketing for brands, it's still more niche, and Brands should be certain that their target audience matches with the platform's audience, and that they have the necessary resources to produce the videos, the high quality videos that should be displayed on this platform before they decide to create an account or before they decide to market on it. Yeah, the videos need to be high quality. They should be creative, professionally made, or else it may damage the brand's reputation. So the next platform is Taobao Live, and it's an e-commerce live streaming tool that exists within Alibaba's e-commerce apps. So it has a user base of over 800 million in terms of annual active users, and there are over 350,000 hours of daily streamed videos in 2019. So it's extremely popular as a channel through which brands launch new products or engage with consumers. The channel offers integrated shopping functions that are overlaid on the live stream, so consumers can easily shop and purchase while still watching the live stream host review, recommend, and discuss the products that they're considering buying. The platform can be accessed through the Taobao and Tmall platforms since it links directly to them, and live streams can occur across product categories, so such as fashion, beauty, luxury, food and beverage, electronics, home appliances, and so on. And live streaming has become such an integral part of the retail experience. So as an example, Taobao Live reported a GMV of over 400 billion RMB, or of over $60 billion US in 2020. And then the next platform we're covering is called JiHu, which is the largest Q&A platform in China, and it's known for providing professional quality content, and it's generally considered a trustworthy source of information for users. The platform has over 100 million monthly active users, and the community of users on the platform tend to be highly educated, have higher income levels, and they'll use JiHu's forums to discuss specialized topics. So although the platform is best known as a question and answer platform, it has a lot of features beyond that. So brands can also create their own content, they can publish content, conduct professional live streams, answer user questions, and essentially it creates another touch point through which brands can interact with potential customers. However, due to JiHu's specialization and focus on professionalism, it's usually only recommended to brands that require more technical information or that offer professional services. So methods of marketing on this platform include collaborating with contributors that already have their own follower base on JiHu, so essentially KOLs for JiHu. Brands can also create accounts and then answer relevant user questions directly, or conduct brand education through live streams and through publishing articles on the platform. So some tips for marketing on JiHu include, as I mentioned, collaborating with contributors, this can be especially influential since JiHu has also implemented a feature that allows e-commerce sites to be linked directly to the platform. And yeah, so I mentioned these already, but brands can also answer questions directly and professionally, and they can conduct brand education through JiHu Live, which is JiHu's version of live streaming, and they can publish articles directly. So the final platform that we're covering today is called Baidu, which is the largest search engine in China, and it has over 600 million monthly active users. However, it does play a smaller role in the Chinese consumer journey, depending on the category, of course, when compared to Google abroad. Since many media platforms in China are closed ecosystems, they are not indexed on Baidu. So for example, Alibaba and WeChat are not indexed on Baidu. So the search engine becomes more relevant only in some categories, especially in the business-to-business B2B industries, in education, insurance, real estate, etc. Instead, the majority of search about FMCG products in particular goes directly through social media platforms or through e-commerce platforms. However, if your category is one in which Baidu search engine marketing and optimization is relevant, then search engine optimization and search engine marketing, SEO and SEM, through keyword selection is something that you can consider. If brands decide to conduct SEO, then they can optimize their websites or landing pages to the most relevant keywords on Baidu based on customer search behavior, and through that they can boost brand visibility on search engines. So all brands should still consider search engine reputation management to ensure that their reputation remains positive and that they don't get caught up in any negative or damaging claims or articles. And this can be done through monitoring on Baidu as well. So as a platform, Baidu offers more than just paid search advertising. They also allow brands to run in-feed ads and to create brand zones. So advertisers have a wide variety of methods to reach their target audience on the platform as well. So now we'll move on to discussing media connectivity. An interesting aspect of the major players and platforms in China is that they're not always cooperative when it comes to sharing resources. So they're closed ecosystems, and driving traffic between each other's platforms is more difficult. So because of this competition, the online digital economy in China can be considered divided. So this little chart over here just kind of shows where the different platforms are able to drive their user base to. As an example, Weibo, Douyin, and Little Red Book can drive to Tmall, whereas WeChat and Kaisho are more able to drive to JD. There are three main implications to this lack of cooperation between platforms. So the first is that brands need to be careful when creating a marketing plan, since they need to ensure that there is connectivity between what they're doing on the media platforms and where their sales channels are, essentially. So whether they're selling on Tmall or JD. And unlike in most areas of the world where Google holds the majority of the online search market share, as I mentioned before, the separate ecosystems of the platforms in China each use their own version of search engines. So yeah, consumers will search directly on e-commerce platforms or on social media platforms for the different brand accounts rather than using the search engines. So brands need to consider an omni-channel marketing approach and to be strategic when they discuss the different platforms that they want to target. And this will depend on their target audience and on their e-commerce platforms that their sales channels are on. So in general, brands should ensure that they're across as many touch points as possible. This doesn't mean that they should open up their official accounts on every single platform that they see, but it's more that they should invest in paid media across a range of platforms while having a few very solid official accounts on a few select platforms to act as that foundation and that brand establishment basis. Then through the paid media marketing, they can create massive hype to drive up traffic volume, which will eventually, if they invest enough in it, it will eventually spill over into sales. Although the investment for this entire process should definitely not be underestimated. So it can oftentimes be extremely pricey to invest across all these different platforms and to invest in different types of paid media and to create all these different touch points for brands to interact with customers and for customers to become exposed to the brands. In general, when developing a multi-platform campaign, it should form a cohesive story for the brand that ultimately drives consumers to the sales channels. So setting up own media channels, once you've defined your strategy and agreed which social media platforms your brand will focus on, you can go ahead and set up your official accounts, which I've discussed before, and register the platforms under your brand. So international accounts verified under your foreign entity. So I'm just going to talk briefly about live streaming. I've mentioned this before, but over the past couple of years, it has increased extremely quickly in popularity. So most of the social media platforms that I've discussed today, you'll notice also offer live streaming features in some form or the other. So live streaming topics can range from lifestyle, gaming, and education to purely e-commerce focused, because live streaming has become a sort of shopping entertainment for many people. When live streaming, followers can interact with their with the live streamer in real time, so they can ask the live streamer questions about the products that they're recommending as they discuss it through video. And depending on the stream topic, followers can ask for tips on how to use the products. They can comment on the products whether they like it or not, or they can even purchase the products directly during the live stream as well. As live streaming makes scripting the content more difficult because of that interaction between the viewers and the live streaming host, viewers often perceive live streams as being more authentic and credible, which makes them a great source of marketing because of that additional credibility that it provides to the products that the live streaming host is recommending. So e-commerce live streaming has since become one of the best and most effective methods for brands to quickly move volume depending on the popularity of the key opinion leader that brands are working with. So many celebrities and brand CEOs have also actually begun to host their own live streaming sessions to promote their own brands or products or things that they're selling. And here are just two charts to show the size of China's live streaming e-commerce market on the left, and then viewers or users of live streaming in China on the mark. So you can see the steep increase in both of them. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about key opinion leaders. So I've mentioned this, but influencers in China are known as key opinion leaders, and they can be any account or user that has a follower base and is considered an authority on a particular topic or category. So due to the increasingly social nature of e-commerce in China, KOLs have a significant impact on the purchasing decision of Chinese consumers, with many consumers looking to the KOLs specifically for product recommendations. So brands will frequently collaborate with KOLs to promote products or to work with them as a brand ambassador. However, one thing to note is that when choosing a KOL to work with, brands should ensure that the KOL's style and content fits with the brand image, and that the KOL's followers are a match for the brand's target audience. So recently, there has been a crackdown on celebrity culture in China. So brands also need to be certain that they need to be certain about the KOL, about their background, that they don't have any scandals, maybe before working with them, because otherwise it can be a very expensive mistake of an investment. So live streamers are also considered KOLs, and as an example of just the power of live streaming KOLs in particular, during the course of the Singles Day Shopping Festival that happened just about a month ago in November, Li Jiaqi, who is one of the top live streamers in China, he reached a cumulative transactional value of 11.5 billion RMB just himself during his streams for Singles Day. So the estimated sales volume of his live stream room was 37.71 million, and the maximum sales value of a single product that he promoted was 389 million RMB. So Via, another top live streamer in China, also streamed during Singles Day, and over her 14 cumulative hours of streaming for the festival, she sold a total sales value of 8.5 billion RMB as well. And her estimated cumulative sales volume was 26.89 million. And the maximum sales value of a single product that she promoted was 490 million RMB. So you can just see the amount of sales that an individual live streamer is able to push. And of course, these are the top live streamers in the country. So many of the small live streamers are not able to sell as much as them, but it just goes to show the power of some of the live streaming in general in China. So why are KOLs in China so influential? This comes down to 5 main things, which the first is trust. Successful KOLs work hard to build up trust with their followers, and so are trusted when it comes to their recommendations of products. So when they recommend something, their followers will believe that they're genuine about liking it and will be more likely to buy it. And the second one is suggestions. With the rise in income among Chinese consumers, many consumers are turning to KOLs for advice on how to spend their wealth and on what products to purchase, just because they have an increased income and they have more money to spend, so they want to know how to spend it. Another point is entertaining and personal content. KOLs engage their followers by creating content that entertains them, and that includes images, videos, live streams, and the content about product promotions or brand collaborations can also be more entertaining and more personal and more personalized than brands are able to make it through their own channels. Another reason that KOLs are so influential is direct interaction. So KOLs engage with their fans directly and will often spend a significant amount of time answering comments and questions when they're building up their following, just to build up that one-on-one interaction, that loyalty between follower and the KOL. And the last reason is because brands will often provide KOLs with discounts. This is especially true as some KOLs will negotiate with brands for increased discounts due to the competitive leverage that they have because of their influence with their followers. So these exclusive lower prices allow KOLs to sell more products during their live streams or during their promotions, which will in turn lead to more viewers or more followers next time that they decide to work with a brand, since the followers will already be expecting these discounts. So here is a checklist for KOL collaborations, and It's just to help brands ensure that the KOL that they're working with is right for the brand. The first is determining if the KOL style, content, and target audience match the brand. Second is choosing the platform and making sure that it also fits with what the brand target audience and what the brand category is. And then the third is monitoring the KOL's previous posts to check for fake or inflated views and comments. The fourth is to ask the KOL to provide their backend data. So things like click-through rates and demographic breakdown of followers to make sure that their click-through rates are high enough for the brand and that their demographic fits with the brand's target audience. The next one is to ask if the KOL is willing to do part commissions and to link to the sale channels so that they're more incentivized to drive sales as well. And they will have more incentive to drive more sales of the brand because they'll also benefit from additional sales. And then the last one on the checklist is to look at previous brand collaborations that the KOL has done and to see the results of these campaigns to check if in the past they've been able to drive the sales that the brand would want. So one thing is when working with KOLs, brands should also ask the KOL for their opinion. A mistake that some brands make is to provide a content guideline that is too restricting for the KOL because this could result in the promotion with the KOL coming off as clearly an ad to the KOL's followers instead of feeling more authentic and feeling more like a genuine recommendation. So the content should be more genuine and the KOL should be more free to do the promotion or do the collaboration in their own style as opposed to reading off a script written directly by the brand. So in terms of KOL budgeting, KOLs can generally be split. They can be split according to 3 different tiers: micro KOLs, which have smaller followings but are less expensive; mid-level KOLs, which have significant followings and are good at introducing new products; and top-level KOLs, which are the biggest KOLs in the industry. They're great for brands to collaborate with when it comes to market education, and this is especially true for products or concepts that may be less familiar to consumers in the Chinese market. So this just generally provides some of the pricing. These are pricing estimates, of course. They can vary depending on product category, depending on timing of when the live streaming is. Like live streaming tends to become more expensive during the big shopping festivals. So for example, during Double 11 or 618, which is the mid-year shopping festival. So these prices provided are very much estimates, and they're very general. So they definitely may change depending on product category and timing and other factors as well. So key opinion consumers and product seeding. Key opinion consumers are everyday consumers who have an influence on their own circle of friends and family, and they're quickly becoming a driving force in the Chinese market. Although they may only have a few hundred followers on their various social media accounts, they are considered more trustworthy because when it comes to their opinions of reviews, which makes them a powerful marketing tool because many Chinese consumers are catching on to the fact that KOLs are frequently paid to promote and collaborate with brands. So key opinion consumers are kind of an alternative to that. So frequently brands will conduct product seeding with key opinion consumers, so sending them products so that they can provide genuine reviews or experiences with the brand and with the product, thereby increasing digital noise around the brand and increasing the brand's credibility and online presence. So through product seeding, brands can generate massive online noise. They can build up their over brand awareness and digital presence. With all this being said, KOCs are unlikely to ever completely replace KOLs. So brands should definitely work with both KOCs and KOLs to build up, their brand awareness and to build up their digital presence. So programmatic ads, they are run across different media channels using specific targeting metrics and big data to reach the relevant consumers. The use of programmatic ads can enhance brand awareness and they can drive potential customers to the brand's landing page. So some of the potential targeting metrics include demographic, interest, location, online shopping history, income level, contextual, custom audience, and remarketing audience. And the buying model is generally cost per mil or CPM. So some of the potential platforms that these ads can be run on are shown across the bottom of the screen, and they're sort of roughly divided into different types of platforms. So video, news and finance, social, business, female focus, lifestyle. And some of these were covered in the previously in the webinar. So the final slide is on building sales online. When it comes to media marketing, one of the major things is determining what your goal is. So there are three main things that you should think about when media marketing. The first is converting to first-time purchase. So converting first-time customers and pushing them into making that first purchase. The second is trying to get as much conversion as possible. And the third one is building awareness online. So you need a mixture of creating awareness, trying to create brand equity with the customers, with the consumers, and trying to create loyalty with the consumers. So just pushing for repeat purchases after that initial purchase, which is where profitability comes in with brands in China. And at the same time, building up enough awareness so that in the long term, you're also building up your brand itself. So the different platforms in China are more useful for achieving some of these goals compared to others. So you can see this table here, which kind of gives a general outline of which platforms are more, which platforms and which media marketing tools are more geared towards awareness or towards conversion. And the reality is that it costs a lot of money in China to build up awareness in these initial stages. And if you keep investing money into it, at some point there will be a spillover into sales. The spillover will come due to word of mouth marketing through own media, and essentially the goal is to keep building up that investment and building up brand awareness until you start converting into sales. So that is the presentation portion of the webinar. We're running a little short on time, but after the webinar, you will be redirected to a short survey as soon as the webinar is concluded. So it'd be really great if you could answer the survey and provide us with any feedback on the webinar or on topics that you might want us to cover in future webinars as well, and on any questions that you might come up with after the webinar has ended as well. So we'll have a very brief Q&A session now that the presentation portion is over, but if we don't get to your question during the Q&A, please do feel free to put it into the survey, and then we will be sure to get back to you after the webinar has concluded and as soon as we can. My colleague Kanya will be helping me with answering and asking the questions as well. So passing it over to you to get the questions, Kanya.
Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much for that super informative presentation. So just to ask you a question, particularly about the platforms that you discussed. Mm-hmm. How can I know which platforms my brand should use to reach my customers?
So this definitely depends on the brand category and what type of brand and your brand's target audience. So as I mentioned, there's some platforms that are basically universal that all brands should be on. For example, WeChat is one of them. And then depending on whether you're an FMCG brand, Xiaohu is generally a brand that you want to conduct product seeding on. But depending on the other more niche and more specialized brands, it's definitely product category focused. So it depends on what you're trying to sell, who you're trying to sell to, that kind of thing.
Great. And are these same platforms just as important for B2B marketing?
Some of these platforms are. So for example, WeChat is definitely a platform. As I said, it's more universal than the others. So it's also very useful for B2B marketing in terms of brand validity and brand credibility. But for B2B marketing, that's where the search engine Baidu, for example, comes more into play because customers or clients are more likely to search for B2B brands through search engines. And it's also why websites are more important for B2B brands as opposed to social media platforms. So many FMCG brands in China don't even have a specialized Chinese web page, whereas it's more advised for B2B brands to have a specialized Chinese web page through which their clients can contact them or learn more about them.
Great. And then with all of this content that's created, that brands create, can the same content be used across different platforms?
It definitely depends on the platform, because a lot of the platforms have different styles in terms of what type of content is published. So Xiaohu is more visually focused. It's more for video and for images, whereas WeChat is long form articles, longer form articles, and then Douyin and Kaisho are short video. So it definitely depends on what type of content you're talking about, and how you want to adapt it. But elements of the same content can be used. So you can use the same theme or the same brand styling, brand design, but the content itself needs to be adapted to what the platform is fit for, is focused on.
Great, thanks for the answer, Sandra. And that's all the questions I have from my side.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining the webinar. And if you do have any more questions, you can definitely send them through to us anytime, and we'll get back to you. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.